and being followed by a man who always has his back turned to me. It's hard to explain my horrifying situation to people. I spent a solid 10 minutes mulling over a clear, succinct title for my tale. And I reckon I've probably still raised a few eyebrows. I understand. After all, how can somebody follow you with their back turned? I first noticed him at a train station. A tall man with a tweed jacket, corduroy trousers, and stringy, scraggly hair that appeared to be falling out. He was standing with the tip of his nose mashed against the wall, an unmoving, faceless figure. I smirked to myself, finding him no less odd than the majority of drunkards in the city on a Saturday evening. But when I got off the train, I noticed him again. The same Tweed Man, as I now call him, pressed against the back doors. He was still facing away from me, but I recognized the unusual attire and unkempt hair. Still, I thought nothing of it at the time. He had been on the platform, after all. Why wouldn't he be on the same train as me? It was only as I walked home that things took an unnerving turn. A lone woman walking down eerily silent, dimly lit streets at midnight. It's not a habit of mine, but I wasn't frightened. I've always felt safe in my hometown. I live in a sleepy village. There's no nightlife, not even on a Saturday evening. And on this particular night, there wasn't a car or a soul in sight. There wasn't even the sound of animals rustling in bushes or trees. Absolute silence. So, when the clomping began, it was carried clearly by the still night air. I whipped my head around, squinting to make out the source of the sound. Along the hilly road, which stretches a good half-mile, there was a lamppost. One solitary lamppost for the entire road. People have complained to the council about it, but, like I said, the town's nightlife is non-existent. Few people wander when the streetlights come to life. I was about 100 yards past the lamppost, walking through the blackness, when I took another glance over my shoulder. And then I finally saw him, the Tweed Man. He was walking backwards through the glow of the streetlight. He no longer looked drunk to me. There was something utterly terrifying about his movement. His joints seemed to click in shaky, disconnected ways as his limbs jolted backwards, propelling him along the pavement. His torso bounced from side to side, and his arms hung limply in his oversized tweed jacket. Terrified, nearing my street, I took one more fateful look over my shoulder. The Tweed Man was somehow only a few yards behind me. Still facing away and reverse striding. In a petrifying moment that instilled horror into my heart, the abomination started to bend backwards, almost revealing the face that he had been concealing. His elbow joints cracked ghoulishly, and his frightfully thin fingers stretched towards me. I still hear the wheeze that emanated from his lips as those inhuman fingers grazed the nape of my neck. I hear it in every waking and sleeping moment, a nightmarish wind from a place far beyond our world. Unleashing a primal scream, I slipped free of the contortionist's grasp and hauled my body down the street, gunning for my house. Fumbling with my door keys, the most terrifying thing was the continued silence. Not a sound from that horrific man, and that didn't comfort me. I refused to turn around again. I slotted the keys into the lock, flung the door open, and shut myself inside the house, panting manically for a solid 10 minutes or so. I half expected to see him outside the door, or my front window, perhaps. But my street was lifeless. I wish that were the end of it, but I've been seeing him everywhere, always with his back turned, sometimes standing still, other times walking backwards in that unhinged, dislocated manner. Train stations, city streets. I once saw him behind the water cooler in the office. My colleague laughed and said nobody was there. I try to not go anywhere alone, but crowds don't seem to stop him from coming ever closer. Last night, I saw the Tweed Man in the corner of my room, a silhouette in front of my bedroom door. I shrieked, but the man was gone when I turned on the bedside lamp. What do I do? The police never take stalking cases seriously. What would they even do to protect me from a seemingly supernatural horror? I'm struggling to describe this man beyond his clothes. I haven't even seen his face. I have a feeling that nobody lives long after seeing his face.